No one in Brussels expected that King Leopold II would set out to own a nation. Yet by the middle of the 1880s, the monarch, best known for grand public works and obsessive urban projects, had quietly engineered one of the most audacious and brutal conspiracies of the age: the creation of the Congo Free State as his personal empire. The plot began with language of philanthropy. In 1876, Leopold launched the International African Association, presenting himself as a patron of explorers and a civilizer committed to ending the slave trade and bringing progress to Central Africa. Behind the charitable facade, however, was a methodical plan to acquire territory, resources, and legal cover. Leopold bankrolled expeditions and agents whose work would be framed as scientific and humanitarian, while they negotiated secret treaties and planted flags. Henry Morton Stanley, the world-famous explorer, became one of Leopold's principal instruments. Between 1879 and 1884, Stanley carved a string of treaties and trading posts along the Congo River, signing agreements with local chiefs that were often obscure in language and meaning, interpreted by Europeans as ceding sovereignty. When European powers gathered at the Berlin Conference of 1884–85, Leopold presented these initiatives as benevolent and in the interest of free trade and civilization. The conference recognized his claim not as personal greed, but as a philanthropic project. In 1885, the Congo Free State was born. On paper, a territory devoted to humanitarian and scientific aims. In practice, the private domain of King Leopold II. The conspiracy lay in the double life Leopold cultivated. He set up front organizations, concessionary companies, and a private administration that allowed him to profit directly. The state apparatus he created, most notably the Force Publique, a colonial army formed in 1886, enforced labor regimes and rubber quotas for the benefit of concession companies. The rubber boom of the 1890s turned the Congo into a cash machine. Enforcement was brutal. Hostages were taken to compel production, entire villages were punished for missed quotas, and violent reprisals became routine. Reports of mutilation and other atrocities circulated among traders, missionaries, and diplomats as early as the 1890s. Leopold shielded himself through careful secrecy and diplomatic maneuvering. Official budgets and company accounts obscured where profits ended and state spending began. He used international law and the rhetoric of philanthropy to deflect criticism. Belgium, as a constitutional monarchy, remained publicly detached. The Congo was not administered by the Belgian parliament, but by the king's private apparatus, insulating him from domestic oversight and international accountability. Tension mounted as fragmented eyewitness testimony accumulated. Missionaries, some expatriate traders, and visiting officials started to tell inconsistent but damning stories. Yet by design, the system confounded outside inquiry. Concession companies controlled access. The Force Publique policed the interior, and correspondents who arrived found a landscape reshaped by violence and fear. The conspiracy was not a single secret meeting, but a sustained campaign of concealment. Legal frontiers, propagandistic language, financial opacity, and the strategic use of charismatic explorers to legitimize imperial claims. By 1900, the Congo Free State was firmly in place, teeming with wealth extracted from its people and land. The consequences for the indigenous population were catastrophic. Scholars today agree that the human cost was immense and remains one of the darkest chapters of colonial Africa. The real intrigue of the late 19th century was not an isolated plot, but the orchestration of public opinion, law, and commerce to hide a private imperial venture behind a mask of benevolence. This story of Brussels and the Congo shows how rhetoric can be weaponized and how institutions can be hollowed out to serve one man's appetite for power and profit. It is a cautionary tale from the heart of the scramble for Africa. When humanitarian language becomes cover for exploitation, the truth will eventually emerge. but often only after enormous human suffering.